Let me go back to your presentation. And I'm really amazed of how generous you are. We were having a conversation over lunch, nice lunch, by the way, about how the relationship that you established with your vendors, that you create this co-partnership or this relationship where there's like an investment on your side if they come up with idea. I think this is tremendously generous, and it's very smart on your side. But speaking of generosity, I think your presentation too, you gave, again, I think a masterclass, but also your work at GALA, which is volunteer work. It takes a lot of time. I've been there. So how important it is for you to be part of this, creating this community around the industry?
The whole thing with being part of GALA it's funny because for many years someone told me, do you want to, why don't you try and get on the board? And I said, no, I don't have enough to offer. And for a few years, I helped my previous boss get on the board because I thought he can add value. So he did that, Cora from
yes.
He did that for a number of years. So I supported him as much as I could. And then I loved what he was like giving into that. Yeah. And then one day I was talking to the director, the executive director of GALA, Allison, and she messed me up because she said that thing about, sometimes it's, you just realize that it's the right time to give back.
Interesting.
And I went back home and she really messed me up because I couldn't let go. It says, I've managed to do a number of things. I am successful. I may have the time. It is the time to give back. So I don't know. It just feels good. That's the thing. Helping other people do better. It also...
And we learn on the way. We learn so much.
Exactly. You connect with people, you compare notes and things like that. And I won't lie. It's also like great for your, we were talking here at the conference about brand and everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
It is.
For me to create, like I said, take something that it's in my mind and it's in your mind. But me deciding to spend the time, package it up, and give it to other people, as opposed to just like keep it to myself and use it as my competitive advantage, then that's also a good thing to get on the client side, right? On the client side, you're not necessarily competing for the same things. So you're competing within your organization to get more support, more resources, more things like that. But I don't need to win over another team that is doing similar things. So you can be generous to your point. But the exercise of getting the knowledge, packaging it up, putting it in a format that other people can also use it, it feels good because it keeps your brain around the right things. And you can use it. Before I share anything, my team uses it. My team has access to the same, to the same things. The conversations that we have, I see that they are successful because of this type of things. So why not give it to other people? When I was on the vendor side, there was like always this fear of if you share too much, everybody will copy you.
Intellectual property,
Yeah, but really, it really isn't, because we're all talking about the same things. And really, if you win or lose a client just because of what you share or you don't share,
it's not because of that.
It's because
it's never because of that.
There are more deals being closed because you have like a really nice project manager that everybody freaking loves, and they want to work with that person, and they never want to change the partner that they have on the other side of the bench. That is more powerful than anything that you think that you have as IP. I mean, if it's technology and it is mind-blowing, yes, but not even that, because technology can be copied.
That is true.
Your framework can be copied. Your process will be copied. And so why not just go ahead and do that and enable all of that? And now it's AI. So everybody's freaking out, rightfully so. I was about to ask that. I am very We're getting there. I am very candid. It is a great time to pick what you can do. Is a lot of people are going to suffer or are suffering or just won't be able to adapt or don't want to adapt. I'll give them something that they can at least work with. I think that I did the same thing. I remember reading Bert Essling.
I remember the
Localization. The
Guide to Localization. Yes.
I don't remember the name of the book because we called it
the Bible.
The Bible.
The Bible, yeah. Of course, the Localization Bible.
So long. Yes, the Bible. So long. And so someone took the same thing wrote it down and say, go run. And I think that Bert hasn't made the millions that you might think that he has made just from writing.
Yeah.
Like, boy, every time that you see him, you want to have him say,
I've never met him.
Yeah, no.
No.
I met him was I don't know if he's still a Lion Bridge. And it's like, really, sometimes you want to meet your heroes. And he's a normal guy. He's not necessarily a superhero, but he has done great work for us in the world, whole industry, for many years. I would make my students get the book, read it. You can afford the book, there you go. People from Miss. What can I do? What can I go learn? Have you read Bert Essling's Guide to Globalization?
You have to start there.
And then you read that thing, come back and talk to me.
Yes.
I hope that in a different scale, we can do the same thing. And then if at some point I can see, I run into someone and they can tell me the same things that I told Bert and say, dude.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think at this point, it's so important. I had a slide of an additional, like an addendum. And I would say if I could do an encore. What's happening now, I think, with the advent of AI is that we're losing a lot of talent. I was just talking to Charles about this. Because people cannot afford to have access to information. I was privileged to now with Powerling, I have access to information. I can go to conferences. We have membership subscription to CSA. Access to information. It's damn expensive. Coming to a conference, traveling, especially if you're living in Latin America, particularly, to travel anywhere, it's like $2,000 just the ticket, the plane ticket, and then you have the hotel. So the possibility of giving back, and I think GALA does this wonderfully, but GALA still is a member only. They have to survive. The content is reserved to. But I think this is what we need to do. We need to start spreading the information and sharing more information to help other people because we're losing talent. Yeah. Both on the people that are going, but also not many people are being attracted to come to the industry. And this is a shame, I feel.
Yeah. And it's funny what I just realized what you said with GALA. One of the problems that we have is we have a few hundred members, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we had a few thousand members, it would be cheaper.
True.
It is not an economy. It's not a proportional thing. The problem is that we want to create content that a lot of people consume, but the cost is in producing things.
Yeah.
But it's we're hurting ourselves, So sometimes you need to pick some of those and bite the bullet, so to say. Not trying to make the case for people going and pay. I do remember for the longest time I used to go to Logworld and pay out of pocket. Even when I was a translator.
Yeah.
Super depressing experience, by the way. I don't recommend it to anyone. No, because I handed people over my card. When they saw I was a translator, they pretty much tossed it in my face.
Yeah.
Because it's I'm not here to deal with you, which is understandable, but hurtful.
It's fair. Yeah.
It is terrible. So I think that we can do so much doing things like content for free, but I think that we could do so much more if we could really associate better. And get more people into the same place because someone will be creating a structure. With a structure comes a scale. And then it's democratization of that information, of that knowledge, of that, all that good stuff that we're lacking. So I don't know what the solution is. I try to do my part.
I'm optimistic. I think, there was some adjustment, and adjustment is necessary. I remember this happened years ago when Google Translate and people said, lost, the industry is doomed. Probably not as powerful. The shift was not as powerful as it is now. But I'm optimistic. They had a record number of attendees. Argentina is not economically in a good position, but, you have a lot of local people coming over, paying for the event. So, yeah.
As much as I wish it was a different way, I'm still a big believer that we get a lot more when we get in person. And we listen to the same ideas and then we go and have commentary about the same ideas. I think that people don't realize how powerful it is. You might be watching a shitty presentation and bored to death or falling asleep. No, really, but the conversation that you have right after that around coffee about how bad that presentation is, in many cases bring up what you wish you had seen, what you wish you had heard, how something else that someone else has seen compares with it.
Yeah.
What really has a good talk track about this and that. And all of a sudden you're getting a lot of relevant information for you. that when we just like close down the Zoom call, doesn't happen.
That is true.
It's like going to the movies and never getting to talk about. Oh, but there is a forum going comment over there. It's like, no, that takes effort. Going to the coffee and talking to people is a necessity. You do it because your body asks for it.
That's
so I find that this is valuable, even if the content is terrible. If the content is fantastic, it's even better.
It's even better.
It's even better. And then you go and you share it.
Which it has been. I think I've been very impressed. Yeah.
It's solid.
It's
solid. And in some cases, it's interesting. Also, like different conferences. Some conferences you want to go, or I want to go and just hear everything about technical. I want to hear technical and innovation and whatever. Okay, just know that. I think that people need to be very honest about what their event is about.
Yeah, I agree.
Who is the target?
Who is our target?
I think that you should be brave enough to say, who should not be attending this?
Sure. Because this is not for you.
Everybody wants the attendance because numbers is a good thing, because associations, organizations, companies need the money, and then everybody wants numbers. But it is so much honest to just say, this is what you're going to hear. Here, we're going to hear from these people and these people and these people on their journey. So when I come in, I hear about someone's journey, knowing that I'm going to hear that then.
And it's probably easier to sell as well to sponsors and to everyone who's
attending. Exactly. And you avoid the disappointment. But if you just try to make it all good and sound all fantastic, we're going to cater to every audience. I've never been to an event that caters to every audience.
That is true.
You know, with GALA, sometimes people criticize, not only GALA, but that there's like multiple tracks.
Yeah.
Oh, but I cannot be in every session and every. It's like, yeah, but there is someone who just wants to stay in one track. They don't care about anything else. To those people, that is super valuable. You might care about everything.
That's true.
It is very difficult. So yes, is there a compromise? Yeah, go make connections. Go follow up. Go ask people, was the session good? When it's good, you go and talk to someone and say, can we talk? Can I follow you? Can I do whatever? And if it was terrible, you go like, whew.
I'm glad I missed it.
Dodge the bullet. Dodge the bullet. We never talk about that. Oh, the tracks are competing. He's like, yeah, you were fine. Yeah.
Don't worry. You went to the good one.
You were fine. And the other thing, like when my team goes to a conference, we usually split. So
and then you take notes and then you
take notes. Yeah. But at the same time, I tell people the same thing I do. Even if I am part of GALA, is if you don't like it, go out. Go something else. You had another one and it was competing. Give it 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If it's not doing it for you, just don't stay.
Skip and go to the next one. Yeah, that's true.
You're investing in yourself.
Agreed.
Your company's investing in you, whatever it is. Why would you stay and suck it up? It makes no sense. No. But we do it because we don't want to look like, oh, that's a person who stood up and left. Tell me the name of 5 people. Give me 3. Give me 2 people that you remember standing up on a session and leaving.
Myself. No, I leave. If it's not interesting.
No, people who have like left from a session that you were assuming that has ever happened.
From my session, nobody leaves. No.
Yeah, no, I think that.